Okay, welcome back to Action Drones. Today, I've been asked to do a unboxing and an assembly review on an aeroplane, the Ranger 750 Volantex RC. So, the first one I got came with a broken fuselage, but they were very, very good, and within a week they had it sorted out and they sent me a replacement. So the customer service was fantastic. They replied straight away, they fixed the issue great. So now we'll go ahead and we'll do the unboxing and an assembly. Alrighty, so we take the box out of the box. In the box we get the instructions. Here, binding channels and the other instructions, flight control, and then we get our decals, stickers, decals, whatever you want to call them. Boom, get rid of that. Our wing, we'll get our fuselage. Very good, nice and stable, very strong. APP foam, I think it's called. I'll check that in a sec for you. But yeah, they're very strong, very flexible. They take a lot of beating. I've had a lot of these over the years and love it. It's good fun. And we get a box of goodies, propeller, all the bits we need to put it together. And on this side, we undo the sticky tape. This side we get the remote control. So there's the remote control. And we get the charger, charging cable, and the elevators. And tail flang. Alright, so we get all of that there. Let's have a look in here. Front just pops off. It's got a clip down on the front there, where it clips in. Inside comes your battery. After looking at instructions, doesn't say on there, by the looks of the plug, it's a 2 cells, that'd be 7.4 volts. Check how many milliamps it is. Randy will tell us in the box. Milliamps of the battery. Now, take a look at the instructions. Alrighty, so everything comes pretty well protected. Have all the little padding here, fairly well boxed. Alrighty, so put all these bits there and there. So pretty much all you need to put this together is, so this is what I do, you don't have to do it, but it makes it a much better model for longevity. I need a little bit of 2-pack. Tweezers, sharp knife, screwdriver, and multiple small screwdrivers, and 4 AA batteries. That's about all you need to get this plane going and up in the air. It becomes pretty much ready to fly, apart from a few little assembly bits. This, let's go quickly too. On this model here, you can get it. On the end, it comes with GPS and Wi-Fi, so it has an auto return to home, or back to where you are. And the Wi-Fi, you can have a camera in the front, so you can transmit FPV. Just slides down in the front there. You can order it in 3 different ways. Ready to fly like this, or with the GPS, Wi-Fi, or plug and play. Okay, which means you don't get the remote or the receiver. So that's that. There we are. So it's fairly easy to put together. Instructions, just go over a few things. How to charge. How to start. Yeah, well, pretty much. So it comes with all your servos. Servos inside there, you can see for your rudder, elevator, ailerons, motor. So 4-channel. Okay, and then there's your receiver in there. This does have a gyro in it, so it's got a gyro for stability. So if you're a very beginner, no sticks, it'll fly level. Then you can put it into intermediate, where the gyro helps you a little bit, but you have a lot more control over the plane. Or you put it into export mode, totally disconnects the gyro, and the plane's all yours to do what you want with. So it's very good that way, very good learning one. If it's your first plane you're looking for, great plane to grab for your first plane. And then it comes with ESC, the electronic speed controller already installed as well. Yeah, pretty much say just assemble and fly. So we'll get into it. So the first bit to do is get a sharp knife and trim out these. You can see here these 2 little pieces of foam here, okay? Cut that one out, and then cut the one out on the other side. And up in the top, okay? And then just make sure that they're no chunky bits there to push it out of whack or anything. There on you. So that's pretty basic for the first thing. Then we've got the elevator, okay? Tailplane elevator. You can see how it's got a reinforcement brace that goes to the bottom, okay? So that'll be the top of the airplane. So now it's simply just slipping that in like so, okay? And then this is your elevator. Up, down, rudder, and ailerons on the wings, which we'll get into. So now we've got that bit done. We'll stick that like so for a second. In the box. So goodies, so the bag of goodies. We have our servo horns or control horns, propeller, different size bushes for the propeller. It comes with a screwdriver, propeller nut, and 2 screws for the tail. Alright, so then all we do is we open this little bag. We take out one of these really long screws. You can see the hole there. It just goes in that hole. Okay. Push it in a bit and grab the screwdriver. Screwdriver's magnetic. Great. Alright, and then we just screw away. Before we tighten it right up, stand it like this, and just make sure that your tail is square to the center of the fuselage. You don't want it on an angle down like this or up, because then that gives you a different control surface. So when you pull up, it'll try and make the plane go like that. And when you pull up, all we want to do is have that dead square, so when you pull up, the plane just goes straight up without giving any other direction. So always make sure that your tail plane is like that, okay? nice and square to the plane, to the fuselage, and then just flip that up. Okay, just got the tail on. So what we'll do is we'll put the tail, the horns. Oh no, we'll put all the horns on at once. So we're going to first put in glue. So you pull out the aileron control rods. You can see from in here, we've got now 2 aileron control rods sticking down. Okay. See that? So now they're sticking out, and they'll go to your ailerons. Then we just grab the wing. Again, see it has a reinforcement on the bottom, and the bendy bits, they go, the reinforcement goes to the bottom, the wingtips go to the top. And we just push this in nice and firmly. Same thing. Always wear your wings up level with the center of your fuselage. So your center of your fuselage is dead vertical, like that, up here, and then up here. And you want this part to be exactly 90 degrees horizontal to your vertical fuselage, okay? So, that looks pretty good. Alrighty, so far as you can see, it's pretty simple. They've made your life really easy to do. Now they have already put marks in the PPE foam, okay, here for your throw horns and control horns, here, alright. So what we've got to do is get our control horns out now. And this is the bit where I do a little different for longevity, because they can move, get a little bit of movement in the foam. So I like to, when I push the horns in, just use a little bit of 2-pack epoxy, okay? That way it'll glue it to the foam and then it'll never move. So you won't get any movement in the horn inside the control surface, okay? It has to be, if you move that horn, the control surface has to move. If you've got any play there, then that's when the plane's very unstable, not fun to fly, and big risks of crashing. Okay, so that's these. So now what we'll do is, the horns are very simple. As you can see, they got little locking tabs, locking barbs on it, and you have a locking tab here. Okay, and then when you push it in, you have your 2 slots here, okay, and then that horn just pushes through there like so, okay, and then we connect that to that once we get to the next stage. So that's that simple, and then the other bracket goes on the top to clip it in. So what we'll do first is we'll make our little holes clear all the way through all of our surfaces. Like so. And this one's going to come in from this way. Alright. So now we have got that. Next thing you've got to remember, see how they're forward, they're like bent, they're off center, because the base is back, and these holes here are lined up with the center here of the control surface. So when you push, you're actually pushing from the center, you're not pushing from back here. Because if you're pushing from back here, you need a lot of movement, and you're actually trying to push the aileron off the wing. So you've got to be right on the center of your arc here, so that when you push, it's only turning the elevator, not trying to push it away. So it has to be dead center there, okay? So that's why when you put it in here, we'll just show you roughly, okay? If you look at that now, you see that those holes here, these holes are in line with the middle of that cutout surface there. So when we move it, it moves it just up and down. If we were out here, it would try and push the elevator and you wouldn't get any movement. And you need a lot of throw to actually try it and end up ripping these off. So it's very important to make sure that your holes are in line facing the center of your pivot point of your ailerons, elevator and rudder. Okay? So this is where I like to do it a little different. So we get these out, we'll get these all ready. And these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. What we'll do, we just mix up the teensy weensy. Tiny bit of toothpaste, a little rag to wipe the excess of the finger. Alright, so what we do now, we just stir this up a little bit. Okay. And we just put a couple of dobs. That's all you need, just like that. See? 2 dobs. 2 dobs. Like so. Because it's only 5-minute epoxy, I'll do this pretty quick. So now we just push this one in, same thing, put it facing forward, push this one in, same thing, put it facing forward, then we'll get to the elevator, so we just put a tiny little bit of this on here, like that. Wipe off any excess you got there. Then same thing, this one will go forward to make sure your holes are over your center point axis, like so. And then the rudder on this side, so a little bit of this in there. A little bit more of this in there. Alright, you take our last horn, get holes forward so they match the center pivot point of your control surface. Okay, these are called control surfaces because they do all the controls. These are all called lift surfaces. That keeps the plane in the air. So then we just, like this point, we grab this clip. Okay, we just stick it over the top of there. And we push it down. Okay. Nice and tight, not too tight, just to hold it in place. Like so. Come back to the rudder one. That's the rudder one. And one on the elevator. Tight. Whatever. Alright. So now we've installed all our control horns. So we don't get any marks or any glue anyway. Just wipe off any little bit of excess we got. A little titanium. Alright. So that's putting your control horns on. Make sure they're all the right way. See the holes there are in line with the center pivot. Holes here are in line with the center pivot point. Get that a little bit up there. And little bit up there. And then on the ailerons too, right on down the pivot point, see, all in line. So therefore, your control horn's installed. Now, widen that a little bit up there. So, we'll put this down there so we don't stick ourselves to it. And we've got 2 spare control horns. Alright, so what I do next, while I'm waiting, say it's only 5-minute epoxy, is I'll grab my remote control, get rid of them, put our batteries in, say it's 4 AA batteries you need, put our batteries in, okay. Back on. Perfect. Alright, turn it on. Yep, bleeping. Alright. So now we've got that on and bleeping. So what I like to do to make your life easier is plug the plane in. As it sits now. Way, red, black, they do have a notch, but anyway, see, plug the battery in. It's initiating itself for a second. Turn the remote control on. So it's automatically set up, okay? So you can hear the servos, it's a throttle. Servos are working, okay? But if we have it on with 2 here. This is where we don't want to set it up because this is the gyro working, okay? Notice when I move it, you hear the servos, okay? So that means we can't get a perfect control surface set up, okay? So what we want to do is have it on expert mode, totally disengage the gyro, okay? See, no more movement, no more noises, no more nothing as it goes around. So now we know that we're all in the center point, okay? That's our throttle. So we get our controller. It should stop beeping when it's all the way to the bottom. Okay. Okay, motor. So hear that beep? That means it's in the center of its control, okay? So do that until you hear that on the rudder, elevator, and ailerons, okay? Now center. So that means you've got 50% of duration each side to adjust electronically. We want to get them as best as we can manually first before you fly. Because then when you're in there, you can do your finer trims here. If you set it up and you're all the way to the right, let's say your rudder's maxed out on its right trim, and you take off and the plane decides it wants to go left a little bit and you want to trim it to bring it back level to right, you have no trim. So you're fighting the plane the whole time. Now you'll be constantly holding right in because it's wanting to go left and you can't trim it out. You have no trim left. So you've got to make sure all your trims are in center first, okay? And your throttle trim is all the way down, okay? And gyro off. Once you've done that, then safe to unplug and turn off, okay? Let's get my rag. So that's a very important step for when you're setting up your surfaces to be perfect, okay, from the first flight. So now you take this here Okay, now these here just clip in, but what we want to do, I always put them on the middle hole because it gives you more control, okay? So just think of leverage. Here's the surface here. Up here, you push a long way, it goes a short way here, okay? But here, you push a short way, it goes a long way because your distance is greater from here to here. So it's got to push more to get to the same. So if you want more control, which is better, for when you get a little bit more expert at it, to get do your rolls, have your fun, and also when you're a beginner, it's still better to have a little bit more throw to get, in case you overcorrect all the time. You're flying like this, you can bring it back instead of it wing stalling or falling out. So I always just sit these in, okay, and then check here, okay. Now see, there's a little tiny gap right there, okay? See, it's not perfect here. So what that is, that means that the left aileron is up a bit, so it's going to keep trying to make the plane turn to the left, okay? But we want it to fly dead center because we have centered in the control. So all that means is we pop this back up again. This is where pliers or your other bit comes in handy. Pop that out of there, like so. Okay. Then we wind this in, let's say one turn, okay? One turn's not enough. Going in. Three turns. Now that's perfect. See? 3 turns. This surface here is level and level. Okay? So that means that the control surfaces, as the air comes over, is only creating lift, not directing the plane to move this way. Okay? So we do the exact same thing on this side. So we just have a quick look first, see how far out we are. And we are out of their way. So now go in 1, 2, 3 turns. I'll go 3.5 on this one. And still needs a little bit more. So that's perfect, okay? See the surfaces here and here? They're level, okay? There's no raised and it's not dropped. Here. So now the wings will stay dead level, okay? And always make sure too, because I do a twist. If you look down there now, that way, you see that the rudder, the elevator, the rear tail is equal level to the wings. That way it'll fly straight too. If this is twisted this way, then it will not fly straight. It'll keep trying to go to that direction. So they've got to be both dead level. As you can see down there now, they're both on the same horizontal plane. Okay? Alright, so we've got the ailerons hooked up now. Okay? Now we'll hook up the rudder. Now it's the same. Always make sure. Okay, so that's on the first hole. Let's see it's out. So that'll be making the plane turn left all the time, or the tail of the plane to turn that way, okay? It's got to be dead straight with no trim. See the angle it's on there? Okay. So that means from here, I have to wind it in. Let's go 2, 3, 4 turns. Alright. And 4 turns just makes it about perfect. See that? It's in line, and it's in line. See? So then we just click this back to get it through. Alright, that one's done. So now we've done the rudder, the ailerons, and now we're just on to the elevator. So with the elevator, same thing. Let's have a look here. We know it's in semi-trim, so it should be dead level to the surface. But see how far that is out? Look. See there? That's supposed to be dead level to this surface is supposed to be level through here. This plane has to be flat. So what does that tell us? It tells us we've got to screw it in further, a lot further. So let's go in about 8 turns. Alright, so that's about 8 turns. Let's have a look. Still more, see? See there, it's still out. Alright, we'll get a little bit more in. You might have to change this depending on the center of balance too, because sometimes after your first flight you might find that being straight it keeps wanting to go down, so naturally it has to have a little bit of up elevator. But all this you'll get out of your first test flight, okay? So that's about perfect there. So you see there, okay? That's about where you want it, okay? So it's pretty much level, straight. So we'll just clip that. Alright. So now that's all your control horns and your control surfaces hooked up. So what we'll do now, to make sure that it is all working, we'll get our battery back. Make sure positive, negative. Well, it does have a notch in it, so that's always, I find, with just a triple track. Just watch out. Okay, so now our control surface is set up. So now if I turn the radio on, alright, hear it all initialize, I should say. Okay. So we have up elevator. Alright, so it's going the wrong way, isn't it? See? Pulling up, it's going down. There's our first crash. So now we've got to figure out how to get it the right way. Then we have our elevator, rudder. Okay, so that's there. When I go left, go left. So let's go in the right way. Okay, right, left, and it's still in center. Okay, so now we'll fix the elevator. Ailerons, left, correct, right, correct. Because when you go like this, see how that moves up there? Well, hang on, it just changed. Now it's backwards. Now it's the right way. No, left, right. How did it change? Alright, we're going to check that out too, guys. Let's have a look at that. Alright, because this is your up, down. Should be up, down. Left, right with your rudder. Bank, so you can turn left. Bank, so you can turn right. Don't forget, an aeroplane using this will only bank, and it will fly like that. You have to give it up elevator to bring it into a turning, so it will come around, okay? You can't just bank the plane and expect it to turn, because all you're doing is leaving the plane. Now you're giving this control surface the direction and the force to pull the plane around like this, okay? So just by rolling the plane, it'll still fly dead straight. If you've got everything set up perfect, it'll just fly like this, okay? Might slowly go a little bit to the left, but you won't be able to pull it around, okay? And that's why you can do nice barrel rolls like this, just by using your ailerons and a tiny bit of your rudder to correct it. But your elevator will not disturb it, okay? It'll do a nice center point roll just by those two functions. If when you do go like that, it goes out of control, it means that your surfaces are all out of square, okay? So, let's go in and have a look at this problem, because our elevator is backwards. And our ailerons are backwards. Electric channels, reactions, checking. Done that. Turn on, turn on, turn on the throttle stick for position. Do not unlock the throttle. Pitch sticks above picture. So that's for the gyro calibration. We'll get that in a minute. But now I need to know how to reverse that channel. Channel reversers. Normally this function is not necessary to use. Only operate the below step. Turn the throttle stick into minimum position. Power on the transmitter and the receiver. Do not unlock the throttle. Turn the channel stick to maximum position of any side and hold it there for 7 seconds. When you hear a beep sound, then it makes sound. Okay. Unlock the throttle. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to unplug here, unplug here, plug this back in. Plug this back, turn this on, initiated. So now we want to hold power on the transmitter and the receiver. Do not unlock the throttle. Turn the channel stick to maximum position of any side and hold for several seconds. When you hear a beep sound, it means the channel is reversed. Right, there we go. Left, right, okay? So now right, up, down, left, right, okay? Okay. So now we have all our surfaces working correctly. So we have up, down, because up means when that pulls the plane up. Down pushes the back of the plane and the plane goes down, okay? Up, let me arm it again, and that will stop me from changing it all the time. Okay, so here left, because this is coming up, so it's forcing this wing down, banking the plane into a left-hand turn. Right means it's forcing this wing down, banking the plane into a right-hand turn. Okay, so now that we've centralized it there, everything else is perfect, but as you can see, our ailerons are now not square. So while it's sitting there switched on, we'll just pop this off with our little pair of pliers. Now this one needs to screw out again a bit. Yeah. This one here needs to screw in a bit to level up. Throttle, put in there. Alright. See where we're at now. Not quite. One more. Perfect. Alright. So now we're in manual mode, okay? So left is left, right is right, up, down, left, right. Throttle. But if you flick it to mediocre, now the gyros are helping, you see. So if it rolls to the right, the gyro brings it back to the left. Rolls to the left, gyro goes down. So that's just keeping you stable. So let's go to real beginner. Real beginner also moves because of the direction. So if it thinks we're starting to go to the right, to the left, it gives it right rudder, see? Left rudder, right rudder. Let's see if it's a bit better there. Alright, so now it thinks we're going straight. No, pull it around, no, pull it around, okay? So now it knows we're going dead north, there. Up, down, see the elevator moving? So keep trying to keep it up in the air, okay? So it's keeping it level this way, see it moving up and down? Up, down, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So the gyro now just keeps it dead level in the air for you, okay? So pretty much with the flying itself, you can still do manual inputs to fly it. Then as you've got your manual inputs, it overrides the gyro, okay? So then you go back to your medium, which just helps you out a little bit left or right, okay? But you still have all your manual inputs. And then beginning expert mode is just full on all control, okay? I think I'll put that tail, and I'll see how it flies. Sometimes I like a bit more movement. You should have at least about 10 mil up and down. Old difference, but there's not really that much difference. Okay, but that we can play with after the first flight. Alright, so that's all the main points to assembling it that way. Now we'll just switch it off there. Then of course you've got your propeller, alright? So your propeller, make sure it goes on the correct way. Because when the motor's here, facing the other way, this is what we call a push-up, okay? So the motor is pushing, the propeller is pushing the plane. When the motor's at the front here, like most planes, and the propeller's this way, it's a puller. It's pulling the aircraft along, okay? But here, it's pushing the air. So the air has, this propeller as it rotates has to force the air that way, okay? So we've got to make sure that it goes in the correct way. Then in here, you have bushes, okay? So you get the right bush, just a nice fit. That's the one there. Over your propeller. And that bush goes inside the propeller like so. Okay? Because this is a puller, see the cut, the way the propeller's cut, leading edge, okay, cut. So it's rotating this way, like this. It's cutting the air. Yeah, cutting the air to push. So it's got to go on. It'll be going this way to the puller. Yeah, got to go that way. So probably about the other way shown. Make sure the spinner is tightened until snug. So we've got, so you've got plastic in that spinner. Plastic in that. No, it's just for a different side. Put this on for a second. That's left-hand thread. Backwards is forward, forwards is backwards. I'll just show you what I mean. Okay. Alright, just nip that up for a second. Put our battery here. down, now it's ready to go, okay? Now it's going that way. So here you should be able to feel the air, okay? And feel the plane being pushed. Okay, see? So now we know we're going the right way. You can really feel the air being pushed, see? Now if we had that on backwards, we would get a little bit of air, but not enough to fly the plane. So it's very important, okay? For that to go along like that. So now we know you've got the propeller on the right way, the throttle's working, all your control surfaces are working. Make sure you charge your battery fully. And your battery, as we've seen, sits up in there when you're ready to go. So this here just goes on there and then clips down, okay? So now you're ready to fly. That quick, that easy, and it's a beautiful little plane. I can't wait. So I'm going to go take it for a flight. So the next video will be a flight test of it. I'll put the decals and stuff on. I mean, you don't really even watch me do that. It's pretty boring. Everyone knows how to put stickers on. Just put the ones on the wings, the rudder, the tailplane, and the fuselage. Okay? So I'll put some pictures up of all the decals. And of course your battery, always make sure your battery is fully charged. I always suggest to get a spare one too. They're not much, they're $16, $18. Get 3 or 4 of them, then you can go out and have a lot of fun for the day. It's a balanced charger through USB. So you just make sure you plug it in with the mix up, okay? One goes in one way, and then charge your battery. Make sure it's fully ready to go. Make sure always we've got very good batteries in here too. 2.4 gigahertz digital, okay, connects. So I hope you like that unpacking and assembly, and thanks for watching, and hope to help you out a lot. I love these planes, so I'll give it a flight review next, and we'll show you how to set up and get it flying beautiful on its own in the air, how to do your trims and everything else to figure out what it's doing. So I'll show you all that, and thanks for watching. And we'll see you soon. If you like.